kind of built an entire atmosphere of like education, but hospitality and helping others. And earlier on when I had said startups, I think like you're like the person that startup founders should reach out to first. They may think they may need developers, they may think they need funding, but obviously getting organized and having someone to have their back and guide them on that journey is really what founders really need.
Yeah. I do say though, we do play in the high end of the sandbox, if you will, and I would not want a startup founder who has a limited runway to I would want to feel like they have I would want to see what other options may get what they need, as opposed to paying $3,000 a month for an executive assistant through us. Um, I just, I was speaking to someone earlier today, and I said, look, we really want to see, if it's a really small business or a solopreneur business. I mean, comfortably, I'd like to see 500,000 plus of revenue
Mm,
to justify a $3,000 month spend on anything, frankly. Um, I do think that the executive assistant or some sort of assistant support for a founder should be one of your first hires.
mm,
There's no doubt about it. It's just about what is best.
mm.
And if you're a startup founder and you just landed seed funding and you landed $1.4 million in seed funding and you have a runway of a year, yeah, we probably would be a really good fit for you, because you're going to get a lot of bandwidth out of our assistant, and you're going to create that relationship. They're going to be there from the beginning. They're going to be creating the standard operating procedures for the office, for the business. That no brainer. But if you are starting a business that is developing a piece of software and you're not going to be hitting revenue until a year and a half from now,
Mhm.
it's probably not the right time. Um, it does us no good to force ourselves into a client or business situation where we're not somewhat confident that it's going to have legs. And when I mean that, I mean being with them for 9, 12, 14, 16 months, what have you, because of the effort needed to really make a great relationship happen um, between executive and assistant in that onboarding process. And we front load that. And that first month, we don't consider part of our 1/3 resources. And so a lot of times an assistant will go way over resourced on that first month, but that's okay. We're taking that risk on ourselves of being that we're going to be efficient, that we're going to be integrated, and we're just getting to know you. And so all those, we take all that into consideration. Frankly, though, back in 2019 and 2020, we would take anyone that
Yeah.
came and wanted to pay us and go. But we're realizing that sometimes no is the answer that needs to be said for both parties. And and it's gratifying. A couple of times
Mhm.
throughout our history, I've said no, and then 8 months goes by and it turns into a yes.
Mm.
And a no is never a no. It's, if you treat someone with respect and honesty and openness, no is always a maybe later.
Mm.
And so yeah, I when
Yeah.
and again, when you say startup, the definition is so wide nowadays, that, I was talking to a person, they're like, "Yeah, we work a startup." I'm like, "Oh, really? When did you guys start?" 15 years ago. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But it's a personal thing, and there's cachet in it too.